Here we are, brand new day, brand new time, an opportunity for us to think about and reflect upon the future of us as health professionals. How are we going to keep ourselves fit, enabled, empowered, excited, motivated, and ready to do the work? Does that list already sound exhausting? Like, the work we do is so hard as health professionals. I had the privilege at being at the Australian Allied Health Awards on the weekend. And we had some incredible speakers, including a senator from here in Australia, who reflected back to us how he understood the amount of time and effort and energy that we put into our work that people don't know about. He thanked us for the amount of unpaid hours that we put into our work. I was so moved by this. This is a gentleman that I would not normally be aligned to politically, but he got it and he understood. So hopefully here in Australia, we can start to see some shifting of the attitudes towards allied health professionals. But this morning or the evening, depending on where you are in the world, I have the privilege and the honor of being able to talk with Amy Fortney Parks. She is a powerhouse. I know I've said that a couple times, but I mean it. I attract awesome people into my world. She is one of the awesome people that is in my world. And she is going to share with us this morning something that I took for granted. Something that I thought all health professionals all over the world already knew. And when she started to help me understand that we don't, and that you probably don't, or you may not, it got me thinking she needs to get her message out into the world. So let's bring her on. Let's hear the adding. Let me make that happen. I am so pleased to see you here this evening, afternoon. A little confused. I'm only a one coffee person yet today. Here she is. Amy, we made it happen. Sorry, we just need to go, yay! Yay! Oh, God, I don't want to turn this into a whole rat bag Facebook conversation, but the fact that you are here on this platform is outstanding.
Hooray! I don't have any headphones because if I plug in my headphones, I will not be having power to my phone, which, is a whole technology thing. So, hey.
I love it. I love the way we make it work. But I can assume that you're hearing me because you're responding to me, and that works.
I'm hearing you. And you are in the morning, and I am at night. So here it is 7:02 at night.
Yep.
In Virginia. So
okay,
it's dark where versus you it's morning time. So
I can assure you that your tomorrow is looking lovely.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me know that. Today it's rainy. Weird.
Yeah.
And you are entering spring and we are entering fall.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, so I am looking forward to not having to wear quite so much bulkiness.
And I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt for the first time. Wild.
It is so cool that we have been able to connect when we almost live completely opposite lives. Like when you're awake, I'm asleep, except for this hour or two of the day.
I know, it's kind of funny.
It is, but we've made it work, and it's been a really important relationship in my life. So thank you so much, Amy.
I agree.
So,
same for me as well.
Thank you. So I've got some questions to ask you today, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
Excellent. So how long have you been licensed, and what sort of license do you actually have?
So I have been working in the mental health field for almost 35 years. So I started working in education in mental health. So working in schools, with youth and children and youth in alternative education, supporting them in their learning and in their emotional regulation and well-being in schools. And then I moved into the educational psychology field about 20 years ago or so. So 15 years ago, maybe or so. And so I've been in more of the private practice as a doctoral level clinician for now about 20 years, I would say, or so, and work now specifically I own a private practice, and I also own a national directory here in the United States for clinical supervisors. So we work in the supervisory mentoring space for new clinicians coming into the mental health field as licensed clinicians in social work and counseling and that kind of thing. So a long time, a good long time.
It has been a good long time. And that's part of why I wanted to pull the people together that I did. It's about I call it the wisdom of the ages, but I have offended somebody in saying that. It's never meant to be offensive. I kind of look up to people that have been around for a lot longer than me and go, whoa, what can I learn and glean from you? So I get excited because I know you've been doing this for a while. You've had to cut your teeth during periods of history that we have people in our world now who weren't born when we started.
Well, and it's fun. I mean, my topic, my topic for our symposium is around the brain, and I'm sort of at the end of our live marketing, but at the beginning of the symposium.
Yes.
But my topic, the brain, is at the foundation of everything we're doing. And the most fun part of what I'm talking about is that it's the youngest topic, or the topic that is the most foundational, yet we know the least about.
Yes.
Because we have so much learning to do about it. We're learning so much about it every day. It is the one part of the brain is the one part of the body that we treat, the only part of the body that we treat that we can't really see. You can't see happiness or depression or grief functioning in the cells of the brain. And that makes it really cool.
It does make it real. And as soon as you start talking about it, there's an excitement in you, and I've got all jittery in my legs going, here she goes, here she goes, here she goes. Because to be frank, I don't know if you heard my introduction. When I've heard you talk about the brain, I'm like, yeah, everybody knows this. Why aren't we doing more about it? And it's only because of my background, and I've worked with so many people with brain injuries and cognitive impairment following stroke and cognitive impairment following PTSD, that I've realized that my learning has kind of been immersed in that. So here I am thinking all of these mental health professionals get the same level of education and understanding, and they don't. And I'm like, how the hell do you do your job?
Right. Well, and when so as we're talking about, and I promise you that when we meet and I promise all of our viewers, when we meet to do our big launch, I'll have better lighting. It'll be a much better experience. For now, we're just doing some fun teasing, but and so when we're doing our really serious learning, we'll make it so that there's lots to absorb. Now we're just teasing everybody, but the key thing here is that, yes, exactly. We don't get a lot of training about the brain, and there's so much when we're talking about future proofing and preparing clinicians for the future, and also taking clinicians that are in this field now and saying, what do you need to have or prepare or train or ready for the future? Your brain and the way you think is the one thing of all the things in the world that you can't control. It's really the one thing that you actually have the most control over.
Yeah.
You can't control the economy. You can't control, taxes and debt. Everyone always says you can't control taxes. You can't control death, right? You can't control the economy. You can't control the pandemics of the world, that are going to happen to us, but you can control how you think. And that's what we're going to be talking about when we do our future proofing. And the freebie that I'm sharing as a part of my, symposium gifts and stuff has 10 brain rules for the everyday mind. And I'm going to give everyone the 10th rule as a special treat when we're talking today.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So what excites me about, I am excited, in case you can't tell, the foundational component of how we use our brain. And I think a lot of people, when they were talking, it's like, this is bigger than just CBT, right? This is bigger than just, Good. Just making sure, because once I understood the anatomical structure of the brain and how all of those things were supposed to function, it helped me make sense of why I was trying to get my brain to respond in a way that it was actually anatomically impossible for it to do. It's like, oh.
Right. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not okay, yeah, maybe anatomically, yeah, but functionally, yes. Like functionally,
okay, that better word.
yeah, functionally impossible. And maybe chemically impossible. You know, maybe
Ooh.
your brain doesn't do what you want it to do. Maybe it hasn't been trained to do what you want it to do. You know, maybe I'm sitting here as we are talking and I'm looking out my window of my office and my next door neighbor is training her dog. And I know you have smudge. You know,
Yeah.
your brain is somewhat like a train. It needs training. You know, somewhat like a pet. And, you know, much more like a furry type of pet rather than a dog type of pet. But, you know, it has a lot of abilities, but you also have to work with it. And it needs schooling and training. And so functionally, it may not be able to do what you want. Chemically, it may not be able to do what you want. And it changes over time, many times, depending on many types of influences. And that's what we're going to talk about when we do our chat in a few weeks, the outside influences, the top down influences, the bottom up influences. There's just a lot.
This is so great. So you want to become a part of this symposium. Amy is speaking first for a deliberate reason. That is because foundationally, this is where we need to start.
Yeah.
And once we've got this anchored and we've got it'll make the whole symposium make a lot more sense in terms of you'll learn more, you'll do more, you'll function better because we started here. Because you know what? We've got a little bit of wisdom behind us now. And we've got experts like Amy that help us pull this stuff together. Very cool. So Amy, I'm curious to know, when you first started, when you were a newly minted mental health professional, what used to intimidate you?
I think what intimidated me to start was how people knew, how much stuff people knew that I was afraid to ask about. Like I was afraid to ask questions of people because I was afraid to look dumb. I was afraid to look like I didn't have all the answers, or I was afraid to not know the right answer to things. I think, you know, early on in my career, I was afraid. I had just graduated, so I assumed I knew all the things. You know, you assume when you graduate that you have clearly been trained by all the people to know all the things. And so surely you've just graduated and you're supposed to be the font of all wisdom. And so if I were to go into a room, I would surely not need to ask a question. I should just be there and know, right? And so if I had a question, I thought, well, surely I just must be dumb, because if I have to ask a question, what right do I have to ask a question? And so I would be really intimidated by the people in the room. And then it started to occur to me that there was so much I never learned, and that we have to, as clinicians and humans, but really as clinicians in this field, realize that most of our learning came from a very tiny group of people. And there's so much of a vast group, or so much vast learning to be had continuously, and asking questions is the only way to get closer to more information.
Absolutely.
So
so Debbie's just made a really great point. She goes, it's such a setup for our ego when we start thinking we're supposed to know it all. And I'm sitting here going, I remember sitting in some of those performance appraisals and being told you don't know everything. So, you know, but there was never any solution on how I was supposed to learn the things. And I didn't know what I didn't know. So I get that as an intimidation factor, but also the fearing the response if you ask a question.
Well, and that whole beginner's mind, and we talk about in dialectical behavioral therapy, like that whole dialectical, the whole duality of, I'm doing the best I can, and I can always do better. And I think that that's what I want this symposium to really be in our future proofing, is that idea that we're always doing the best we can, and we can always do better. And that's what I think we're all talking about in our talks, is in everything we're doing as clinicians. And our entire symposium is females, but we need to bring obviously in much more diversity. And in our field, we want to invite that more and more, of course, too. But we always want to do better, and we always doing the best we can. And it's important to be thinking that way, in that duality.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you for highlighting that. So here we are, 30 years on. What intimidates you today?
Oh gosh, still the things I don't know. Still the things I don't know. I'll cry to my accountant, but I'm not afraid to ask questions anymore. That's for sure. I'm embarrassed by what I don't know still. I think just because I feel like it's still hard to not know everything. That's still my ego, Debbie. But what intimidates me now? The things I don't know, I guess, still intimidate me some. Gosh, what intimidates me now? I don't know. I think things excite me more than they intimidate me.
Nice.
You know what? Maybe the thing that intimidates me now is what intimidated me then was all the things I thought I was supposed to know. And the thing that intimidates me now is all the things that are left for me to learn is overwhelming. Oh, wow. So much more to learn. So that's intimidating, like the vast amount of stuff I still don't know.
Yes. Well, what a great way to think about that. Thank you for sharing your thought processes with us then too. That was very cool. So let me ask you a more fun question. Can you remember your first big concert that you went to? Who was it? Where was it? How old were you?
Oh my God. So easy for me to remember because you're going to die laughing. This is really funny. All right. So my parents, we have always gone to this beach place my parents live in Bethany Beach, Delaware. And we have always gone to this like place near Bethany Beach, Delaware called Dewey Beach. And in Dewey Beach, Billy Joel did a concert in a totally tiny dive bar in Dewey Beach, Delaware when I was a teenager.
Wow.
And that's how old I am, of course. So my first live concert was literally in a beach dive bar in Dewey Beach, Delaware with Billy Joel.
Wow. With Billy Joel. This is so cool. This has been like one of the most fun things for me to learn because I didn't know the answers before I started asking everybody. So Billy Joel makes it to the stage. That is really cool.
I mean, it was like not even a stage. Like it's like the side of a dive bar. Yeah.
There was a piano, there was Billy Joel, everyone was
and then and this is the kind of, and so I don't know how many beach bars you have like where you live, but this is the kind of beach bar where the waitresses, it's so crowded in this beach bar that even to this day the waitresses wear backpack coolers. And they walk around with the beer in a cooler. And they sell it from their back because it's too crowded to go to the bar. And so they sell the beer from their backpacks and then they go back to the bar and refill like they do in a big stadium. You know how the people carry it around?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was used to it in the
real
stadium.
Classy.
I'm like, I've got all sorts of work health and safety issues coming to mind, but that's not the point of this conversation today. So my next question for you is, what is your favorite snack, Amy?
Oh my gosh, my favorite snack. So you don't have Trader Joe's, but
no,
we have Trader Joe's here, and there's this snack that's called these Moki snacks. They're like these rice cake snacks, and my daughter, who's 22, got me obsessed with these things. And I'll have to send you some because they're pretty amazing. When my daughter lived in Australia, I sent her a package of them. I sent her a package with 3 bags of them, and the package got lost for a period of time. And she said, I don't care what happens. We have to find that package because it has 3 bags of Moki snacks in it. Mochi, I think it's pronounced mochi. But anyway, they're like a combination of cheese, like cheese curls and like crackers. I don't know. I'll send you some. They're really amazing. They're my favorite
Okay,
snack.
see, another reason for me to spend more time in North America.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
there
Near
are just
Trader
some
Joe's.
things I can't get here. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you can't.
Yeah. I need to get my bark thins. I need to get my mochi snacks.
Yes.
Very.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I didn't know what was going to come out of your mouth then. That I would never have guessed that. So it's a week away. This time in a week we start the symposium. Please tell me you understood that.
Of course I did.
Excellent. So what do you think, well, what are you hoping that people who come to your presentation, or it's actually an interview, so what do you want people to be able to walk away knowing or being able to do once they've seen you live?
Well, I think one of the keys is I want people to be able to understand that there are a lot of influences on their brains, and that there are a lot of things that they can control. And that once they're aware of the things that they can control, they can then enact some influence over those things to minimize the impact those things have on their thoughts, on their energy, and on their mood. And so once you can sort of to some extent hack those parts of your everyday mind,
yes,
you can do incredible things to change your productivity, your own happiness, your relationships, and really make massive changes to your business, to your family, to your parenting, to how you show up in the world. And it's not simple. It's not easy to do. It's a hard thing to do, but it's a simple thing to do. There are simple changes to make, but it's hard work. And so I'm going to share some of the rules that I have in my ebook that are about this everyday mind shift. And one of the key things is about what you pay attention to on an everyday basis. And that's really one of sort of the keys to unlock. And that's what we're really going to focus on.
Oh, very cool. Now, you mentioned earlier in this interview that you might be giving us one of the hacks.
Yeah, that's
it.
To
share that now?
That's exactly the one, is what you get, what you pay attention to. And so when you pay attention to things that are the direction you want to go to, when you are focused on the things that you want to go towards, move towards, that's what you're going to get. So one of the stories that I tell all the time when I talk is, if I were to tell you to pay attention right now, tonight or tomorrow morning, or whatever you are in the world, whatever time you're watching this, if you were to pay attention to and look for the things that are yellow, just look for the things that are yellow, you will see more yellow than you have ever seen in your whole life. But nothing new is yellow, right? There's not actually more yellow, right? There's not actually more yellow around you than there was 5 minutes ago, but you are paying attention to it, and you are going to gather more yellow than you ever even thought. Same thing can be true with money. Same thing is true with people that you're looking for an assistant. Same thing is true if you're looking for clinicians to hire. Same thing is true if you are trying to find a new house. Same thing might be true if you are trying to find more time in your calendar to do yoga. Same thing is true if you are trying to get rid of something in your life. You're trying to move away from something out. When you pay attention to something, it's going to come to you. If you start ignoring it, it's going to disappear. And that's what we're going to talk more about.
Fantastic. Okay, so who's in for Amy? Like, who wants, put it in the comments below. It's like, I'm in. And then you're all going to be saying, Joe, where's the link? It's coming. I promise. We're going to sign up. The whole website will be going live this week. There is a free version because we want to get this into the hands of as many people as possible. But there's also a version to come and participate, get some extra resources, unlock some things for a small fee so that we can pay the people who helped us put this together, which is pretty darn awesome. All right, thank you so much, Amy. This is a great way for me to start my week, although I am already looking for all the yellow things, as Jane is, who she's told me already today. So make sure everybody who's here live today, make sure you tune in, same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow, because I will be speaking with the fabulous Cindy Doyle. Yeah, she's pretty darn awesome. So we will be looking forward to that. Thanks, Amy. Go enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much. Great to see you, Joe. Talk to you soon.
Bye.